I'm Kim Morter from Brix and Morter Real Estate Group at CB&A Realtors here in Cedar Park, and here today with Aaron Cash.
Hi, Aaron Cash here, branch manager with Extraco Mortgage, company based out of Waco, and I'm right in the Leander, Georgetown area.
And today we're out here in Marble Falls, which is just a stunning property up on a hill in the hill country for real.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to cast the camera that way so to show you the hills here in a little bit.
It's outstanding. But on to other news. Top 3 questions that realtors should ask lenders when working with buyers. One of them that I think we would all benefit from hearing about is, in general, what's the impact or what actually happens when a buyer asks for a seller concession or a rate buy down as a negotiating strategy?
That's a really good question. So one of the things I want you to know when you go into this, if you are a buyer about to go into negotiations with a seller, is to look at it from the angle of the seller's, shoes. And so if you're going to negotiate the sales price down, or you negotiate the seller to help you out with, maybe they have some equity in their home to go towards seller concessions, the impact to the seller is exactly the same. And so this is where strategy comes into play. Interest rates are extremely volatile right now. So it is possible for you to still lock in on lower interest rates with the right strategy and with the right representation for you as a buyer going into this. Real estate agents do a really great job with me when they actually call me and they say, hey, what's the best strategy to approach with this specific scenario for you as a specific buyer?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So when might these types of strategies benefit buyers the most? It seems logical to ask for a reduction in sales price, but when would a rate buy down, for example, be a better choice than just knocking $30,000 off a sales price, for example?
Yeah, that's another really good one. So, think about the strategy, and this is where I always go with my clients. First question for me is, how long do you anticipate being in the property?
Right.
How long do you anticipate owning this property? If it's a long-term investment, your best money spent might be towards the interest rate. And the way to do that is to take that seller concession and buy down a lower interest rate, okay? Versus taking a price concession. If you take it off the price, then we're having to do a real hard calculation of a return of investment to figure out what point in the future are you going to get return of that lower price.
Great. Thank you for illustrating it that way. That's really helpful to use that as a way to think it through. So when buyer agents are working with their buyers, what questions should they be asking you on behalf of their clients as the lender to make sure that those strategies are laid out properly?
Yeah, strategy is, again, that's the key word. I don't hear a whole lot of mortgage officers using that word, and I'm so thankful to hear you actually use that word as well. The one thing I can appreciate is when a real estate agent calls me and we just talk through the client's specific scenario without relaying anything that's private and confidential about my buyer. There is an angle that is best for the client, and most of the time it really comes down to, sometimes we have a product set that really helps them out get into this next property that maybe they didn't think about or know about.
What's an example of that?
An example. Really good one. So some of my professional executive programs that are out there, as well as the physician medical community, we offer 100% financing with no private mortgage insurance, even bonus there, which is a costly item. So you could inevitably possibly get into a home with 100% financing, sell your existing home later, and then take that equity, plop it onto your principal or leverage it however you want to leverage it, and then maybe we do a recast.
That would be a game changer, I imagine, for a lot of people that feel like they've got to take the steps in order to sell a house first, then use the proceeds to buy the next home with 20% down and all of the things that maybe were true 30 years ago, but sounds like are not true anymore.
That level of anxiety is with everyone.
Yeah.
Like, how do I go about selling my current home
And
and
yeah, buying a new one
and moving
time.
and buying a new one at the same time, and not have to move twice.
That would be amazing for a lot of clients I've worked with. The double move is killer.
Oh, it's a painful thing. I mean, we did it as a family at one point. It's extremely stressful, especially if you have a 9-month-old.
Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Well, what else would you say at this moment in time to a buyer in terms of timing, right? The buyers and sellers are always trying to time the market. Wait till interest rates go down, wait till prices go down. As an agent, I have my spiel, but what would you say to a buyer
trying
to make a decision right now?
If you were here and could have been a fly on the wall, you would have heard clients come through this house just now. And this same conversation just came up. You got to choose your bad, I guess. Choose your evil. So right now it's a really good time to buy, because if you were to do a report that says, hey, how many homes are listed for sale right now? You've got leverage as a buyer.
Absolutely.
Okay? You've got leverage as a buyer. And there's tons of inventory out there to choose from. And you just got to get with the right real estate agent to understand the dynamics from the seller. The clients that just came through here, they literally just got through telling us that they purchased their home at the very high of the market. So their facing issue at that point in time was multiple bids, being outbid, losing out on houses, and then ultimately they overpaid a lot of money over that sales price to get into their home. So an extreme monetary investment right up front.
Right. And even at a lower interest rate, you're still financing that overage that you paid.
Yeah,
you may not have had to.
There's
from market.
And he was a financial advisor, so there was a true cost of funds
for sure.
For sure. Right now I think it's a really good time if you are a buyer.
Agreed.
To go in there with the right strategy.
Definitely.
And then still get into some lower interest rates. But don't go hard on the sales price would be my advice. Go hard in asking for the sellers to pay for your closing cost.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's wonderful. These are little questions that come up all the time.
All the time. And I feel like a lot of buyers have a general sense of what's available, but hearing the specifics is really helpful.
100%.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on here today, everyone else.
Absolutely. Thanks. We should show this view.
Oh, might as well pan around. Can you see that?
It's just breathtaking.
Thanks again, guys.